Just a little, real quick about me, so you know where I'm at. I'm 62 years old, and I've got a couple transmission shops, automobile transmission shops down here in the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids are now in their late 30s, and they run the shops. So I've kind of worked myself out of a job, basically, and which is okay, but I'm not a retirement kind of person. I've worked since I was 15, and probably going to continue working until I'm dead, which is okay with me. I don't have a problem with that. But I just I have a little bit of construction background because these transmission shops that I've built, we did the construction ourselves. I didn't actually pour the concrete, but I've GC'd the whole deal. I've built several houses. We have quite a few rent houses that I maintain and manage. I don't do the work on them, but I've got plumbers, electricians, carpenters, that sort of thing. So I manage and run that stuff. And I got a couple of other things going on. So, but I'm my hands-on kind of guy on a lot of this stuff. So it's really small potatoes, to be honest with you. Uh, as you know, everything costs so damn much money. You got to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you're sliding backwards, and the government's taking so much of taxes and money that it's going to be impossible to make it, even doing what I'm doing here. So the other thing is, I want to try to make it easier on my kids where they can make more money. So I got to take a little less.
I'm with you.
I need to get into something else. So I've run that race for a long enough time, done it 40 years. I need to, they're doing it now, and they do a very good job at it. But I need to be able to back off of what they're getting charged for rent and stuff like that. But in order to do that, I've got to find a secondary income for me, and I'm not opposed to doing anything else. I just want to find the right avenue that's going to push the envelope far enough for me and give me the biggest bang for my buck. And is this something that you think, knowing what I've just told you?
Yeah, sure. So, look, I've got questions, right? Because if you watch enough of my videos, you know I never try to sell anything to anybody. Really, I consider my retirement to be just answering people's questions and solving people's problems on federal contracts. And I got to admit, when you first started the conversation with, hey, I'm in the automotive business, I was thinking, well, this isn't going to work. And then you started talking about general contracting, and now all of a sudden you piqued my interest. So, like I said, I got questions for you. This business is picking up the phone and making phone calls. Like, if that's what you want to do for the rest of your life, then yes, you can do it. Because look, you already understand the vocabulary of the business, which is the biggest hurdle for anybody coming into this, which is concrete guys want to talk in cubic yards of concrete. Roofing guys want to talk in square of roofing. Plumbers want to talk in Schedule 40 pipe, Schedule 80 pipe, PVC, cast iron, copper. It's the vocabulary of the contractors. So this business is just sitting down in front of a computer and making phone calls and putting together deals. Anybody can do that. What do you want to do?
Yeah. That is probably, I would say, exactly what I do right now. That is exactly what I do. My kids call me. I call my kids, but they're almost 40. They call me up and say, hey, Dad, I got a question about this. And, have you run into this situation? Or I got a problem with this customer. How should I handle this with this customer? Not necessarily technical situations with transmissions.
Yeah, it's perspective.
Exactly. So
yeah.
I get calls from each one. I have 4 kids, and I get calls from them on a daily basis on their shops. And then I've got an additional one that I've got an outside person that we brought in to run another one of the stores. And I just got off the phone with him for 30 minutes because he's learning to sell, and I'm trying to teach him to sell. And I'm working with him, and it's basically the conversation was, tell him this, this, and this, and if he has any resistance at all, get on the phone with me, tell him I'll get on the phone with him, I'll discuss it with him if we need to, So that's what I do in the automotive end, and then on the real estate end of it is the same kind of thing. I'll have a tenant call me and say, hey, my AC's out. Just happened yesterday. AC's out. I pick up the phone, I call the AC guy, hey, get over there and check the AC. He goes over, checks it out, says, hey, the evaporator's shot. Well, can we just change the evaporator? No, we got to change the whole unit because it's R22. But it just go through the whole deal. So the bottom line is I had to talk to him to feel warm and fuzzy about giving them the okay to spend $8,000 on an AC system in that rent house. And then I got another plumbing issue, so I got to contact the plumber. So
Yeah, you want to know something interesting? You pick the magic number on the $8,000 for the HVAC system. So
yeah,
this reminded me of something I wanted to tell you. So in your business, the transmission business, if you sell a transmission for $5,000, can anybody walk into your shop, open up your filing cabinet, anybody in the world, and go, well, holy shit, Chuck, you got a $5,000 sale?
sure.
You're telling me I can drive down to your shop and just walk into your office, open up your...
No, I thought you meant hypothetically if you let somebody come in, they can pull out. But no. No one is gonna. No one knows what we spend on parts. No one
That's
knows what we
right.
spend on labor.
Because
We don't divulge any of that shit.
because it's private.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Now, every contract I ever got in my career, is it public or private?
In your career, it's got to be public. Right?
That's right. We the people get to see how our federal government spends money.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, the last 3-ton air conditioner I sold to the federal government, I sold it for $107,000. Do you believe me?
Oh, I believe you, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe you.
Do you believe that I can show you the federal contract?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
that job was in Alaska. Do you think I flew to Alaska to install a 3-ton air conditioner?
I would not have. I would have hired somebody over there to get the job done somehow.
That's what I did. And do you think I cared whether he charged me 8,000, 15, or even 30?
30 grand doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay?
No.
That's what this business is putting the deal together and just turning in a lot of bids. It's a numbers game. In my entire career, I never bid it to win it. Okay? Like in the transmission business, you have competition and you're bidding it to win it, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're fighting every day.
That's what you're fighting. But in my business, I always bid it so that if I got the job, there'd be plenty of money in it.
Yep. Right.
It's a mind shift.
Right. Right. You knock on 100 doors, you might get 10 to open, kind of thing.
It's actually about 1 in 20.
1 in 20.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, especially going off of numbers like what you're talking about. You know, the amount of profitability involved.
Yeah, it's a great business, but I just want to look, there's 30 years of shit in this head, just like there's 40 years of that stuff in your head on transmit, in the automotive business, The only way to get that information out of somebody is to ask questions.
Sure. Yep.
So with all that said, I'll answer any question you want to know about federal construction.
Well, honestly, Sean, I've watched some of your videos and I've got a pretty good idea on the gist of the operation. My biggest thing was I really wanted your knee-jerk reaction on whether you think I can do this or not because of the experience that I have in things that I have. I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't know how to, I don't know how to, I don't even I know how to put the Freon in an AC system.
But somebody taught you that, right? Somebody took out a vacuum and they vacuumed out the lines. Then they showed you the gauge, which you looked at gauges your entire career, right? And then now you have a vacuum in there. Then they went to the low pressure side and they opened up the gas and let the vacuum suck the gas in, turned the compressor on, ran it through. Look, it's like anything. I'll give you a perfect example. When you were a kid, when you were 10 years old, did you wake up and go, "Oh man, I can't wait to run a transmission shop one day"?
No, I probably would have gone the other direction. If
That
I know what I know now.
that's
Yeah.
right. But when you were 17, 18, something, at some point you started figuring out that money can buy shit. And you
Yeah.
wanted some of that money. And somebody along the way said, "Hey, if you fix this car or wrench on this, you can make money." Okay? But how long were you in the automotive business before you started really figuring out how to make money?
No, it took a while.
It took a while, okay?
Yeah, yeah, long while.
But that was an investment of time. But
Yeah.
you expected a return on that investment, right?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
It's the same thing with my stuff.
Yeah.
You invest the
Right.
time, you invest the money, but you expect a return on it.
Huh?
It's the same thing. Look, smart people, I've always said this. You can take a smart person and you can teach them anything. It doesn't matter what the widget is.
Right. I agree. It's just like the guys in the transmission business. If they've got the will to learn it, if they got the mindset and the ability and the urge to learn, you can teach them to sell or whatever you want them to do. But they got to have that.
Yeah,
Got to have that
it's
drive.
got to come from within. No question about it.
Yeah. Yeah. The time invested in that I would need to invest in this to be able to start seeing results of contracts that are landed. Just a guesstimation. What do you
Typically
think?
about 3 months.
Okay. And approximately how much time, uh, I mean, in that 3 months, is it like 20
About
hours a
4 to
week?
5 hours a week.
4 to 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's a matter of just putting bids together and firing them off to different jobs that I would be able to tackle.
That's right. And have you gone through my video where I teach how to do that at no risk?
I don't know if I saw that one or not. I think I've seen about 5 or 6 of them, but I don't know if I saw that particular one.
Well, just believe me that I teach you how to turn in bids at no risk. Now, when I say no risk, I mean literally zero risk. It doesn't matter what you can take any job, turn a bid in, and
Yeah.
you are at zero risk for the bid that you turned in. So, how long do you think it takes to fill out the bids?
Right. Yeah. I saw that one. I did because it's a matter of you turn the bid in at a price, and then if they accept it, it's not actually stuck at that price or something like
That's
that.
right. You have four options. You can accept,
Yeah.
withdraw, negotiate, or stall.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So about 3 months is the average time that it takes people to start receiving.
It's just like, look, if you walked into a room of 30 people and said, "I'm going to teach a class today on how to sell transmissions," okay? I'm imagining you could talk for 2 hours on that subject. Now, of the 30 people in the room, can you imagine that there would be 5 people in the room that are sitting there, everything you say about it, they go, "Oh, yeah, I know that. We do that. Of course, it makes perfect sense to them because they've been doing it." Can you imagine there's 5 know-it-alls?
Probably so.
Okay, can you imagine there's 5 people in the back of the room going, "What the hell is he talking about?"
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but can you imagine that the bulk of the people, the other 20, would be going, "Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, I hadn't considered that. Geez, we could probably implement." Can you imagine it would be like that?
Possibly so. Yeah.
In my business, it's the same thing. I've been teaching this for 15 years. There's
Yeah.
5 people that have joined the program and won the first job they ever bid.
Uh-huh.
Most people get their first federal contract in the first 90 days. But there's also 5 or 6 guys on the other side that call me up after 6 months. "Hey man, I haven't won a job." Whenever anybody calls me and says that, my first question back is, "How many have you bid?" The answer
Okay.
is always 100%, "Oh, I bid 3, or I bid 4, or I bid 5." And I'm sitting there going, "Dude, you got to be bidding a lot more than that. What's the hangup?" And generally speaking, it's a re education of you're at no risk for turning in your bids.
It's a numbers game too. If you only put in three, you're not going to get any of them. You're just not
Yeah.
going to.
I mean, it's the
You're
same
just
thing.
shooting in the dark.
You
Yeah.
can't make $100,000 on a job that you bid for $100,000.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Uh, the success ratio again, well, it just comes down to the number of bids. So anybody that knows enough.
If you keep turning in bids, you will get a federal contract for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like knocking on doors. The same thing. You face to face with enough people, you're going to end up with something.
That's right. But think about all the effort that person had to go through knocking on doors. When you're turning in bids, that's why I said you got to be okay with the idea of I'm sitting at a computer, I'm making phone calls. Like that's the, filling out bids, that takes minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, minutes.
With the proprietary program that you have, right?
Yeah, bid tracker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Using the bid check tracker, whatever, on every one of them.
Yeah, you just click sync, sync, sync. Man, I've made that thing so simple, a monkey could do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, you got to keep in mind, if it's 1 in 20 and we did 1,000 federal contracts, how many jobs did we bid? Over 1,000. I mean, over 20,000. I'm sorry, over 20,000.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And when you're bidding 20,000 jobs, how efficient do you want that process to be?
It wants to be pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, with the tools that you have and the time spent, if I were to, do I, am I understanding this properly that I don't come to a class and you used to do a class in Austin or something like that where people came in. Now it's all done online. Is that right?
That's 100% correct. And if you want me to elaborate, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Fine. There's no reason for any in person meetups anymore or anything like that.
There is no reason, because just like in real life, if somebody raised their hand and said, I have a question, you can just simply hit pause, pick up the phone, and call me. I mean, in your experience, how hard has it been to get a hold of me?
Right. Yeah. That's not hard at all. So is that the way it is? Is there a monthly subscription after that to be able to?
That's the bid tracker system. You got to understand that system I invented cost $250,000 to create, and we invest $25,000 a month to keep it updated and accurate. I have 2 full-time guys that run that.
So what is that? What's the purchase? What is the price on that, Sean?
$600 a month.
600 a month. Okay. Okay. And then the initial cost for the program and getting started, basically the startup, is how much?
It's $5,000. But have you heard my little blurb on SAM registration?
I don't think so.
Okay, let me explain this to you, because this is going to be a real light bulb for you. So a SAM registration, SAM stands for System for Award Management. It's the government registration. It's you telling them this is who I am and this is what I do. And if you want to pay me, here's my bank account. Okay? It's a little more complicated than that, but that's generally speaking, a SAM registration is so the government knows who you are. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Now, you and I are going to play a little game. But I'm going to give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. Are you ready for the answer?
Correct, yes.
The answer is SAM registration. Ready to play?
Yeah.
There's one thing, and one thing only, required to be a federal contractor, and that is
the SAM registration.
So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
You got to have the SAM.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
You got to have the SAM registration.
Okay, now we're going to play the other part of the game. If you and I are walking through a neighborhood down there in Houston and I point into the sky next to a power pole and I say that's a transformer, would you recognize that as transformer?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
the federal government replaces a lot of transformers. So Okay, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1: the transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Texas. Now,
Right.
that has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. But that company now has to hire a licensed electrician in the state of Texas to replace that transformer. Got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Scenario number 2: the transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now any licensed electrician from any state can come into Texas and replace that transformer. Understand that this is federal eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going on to a federal job. Got it?
Oh, okay.
Scenario number 3: the transformer shall be replaced. Now, that literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer. It has nothing to do with the company name. I see all the time AAA Electrical gets a concrete job, AAA Concrete gets a roofing job, AAA Roofing gets a concrete job. Okay? We, the people, wouldn't stand for you not awarding that job just because the company name sounds weird.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
This is federal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's how I can tell you I've done over 1,000 federal contracts, over $1 billion worth of work with the federal government. I have never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, I understand that completely. That's just like me working on rent houses. I mean, in some other state, some blue state, you might have to have some kind of special license to be able to operate a rental house because you're doing work on the rental house and it's got to be done up to a certain code. As long as a licensed electrician is doing it, I can hire him to do that job. I don't have to have, just because I don't have a license doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
So you're just the guy putting the deals together. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Do you, I guess sometimes in certain situations you used to go to the site and
Yes.
do kind of manage GC the job if
I,
it's a big enough
that's how
money.
everybody pretty much starts when you're a kid. I mean, when I was in my 20s, my dad was sending me around to all these jobs all across the country so I could get an understanding of what all this stuff looks like.
Sure, sure. Makes
Okay,
total sense.
but from our perspective at our age, we don't go out there and do that stuff anymore. That's what we hire kids for.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Uh,
Now,
that
that's
pretty
not to
much.
say that I haven't gone out on federal contracts in the last 15 years. I have because not because there was a particular problem or needed my expertise. It was something I wanted to see. Did you see my video on NORAD?
Um,
Do you remember that movie in 1980, War Games or something like that, where
yeah,
the kids snuck into NORAD?
yeah.
Okay, you can't get inside NORAD unless you're supposed to be inside NORAD. And one day, about 7, 8 years ago, one of my clients called me and said, "Hey, I got a job inside NORAD." And I said, "I'll do it." He goes, "What do you mean you'll do it?" I said, "I'll do it with my own 2 hands. I don't care what it is."
Want to get in there?
And
Yeah.
he goes, "Why would you want to do that?" And I said, "Because you can't get in there unless you're supposed to be in there. I'll do it." And I went up there and replaced a pillow block bearing on a 6-inch motor shaft for a cooling tower.
Just to be able to do it.
I've been inside NORAD, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's some perks to it, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
so I mean, there's
if you
some
want.
things out there you're gonna want to go see.
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I would have the ability to do that. I mean, nothing holds us back. I mean, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that that pretty much so helps me to make a decision. I probably need to listen to a few more of your videos, maybe,
Oh,
and just
I
get.
would encourage you to watch as much of that stuff as you can. You
Yeah,
never know what kind of cool stuff is gonna pop out of my mouth.
yeah. So, Sean, how long does it take to put all of this together with if I were to say tomorrow, yeah, can I start moving down the road of this?
Oh yeah, once you invest with me, you get instant access to everything I have and me. You get my personal cell phone number.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't try to blow up your phone. I'd try to figure it out on my own first. If you
And
gave me the
no,
information
that's
later,
not the way I operate, okay?
oh, really?
It would
Okay.
hurt my feelings if you got stuck on a step and didn't pick up the phone and call me because look, I've been there. I have done every part of this business. I have done with my own two hands. Every part. There is
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
associated with this business that I can't move you to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That makes me feel good because that's exactly the way that I operate with these transmission shops. Tiny on a tiny scale, but it's the exact same thing. I
Yeah.
keep a cell phone on me all the time. Any of those guys can call me anytime they have a question.
Because they're
Even if
not calling you to say how's the weather, okay?
no, they got a problem.
Nobody calls me to say, "Hey, Sean, how's the weather in Austin, Texas?" Because they know I don't give a shit about the weather in Austin,
Right.
Texas. They
Right.
call me
Right.
because they have a question or a problem, and those phone
Yeah.
calls are 2-3 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course I'm available for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, that means a lot right there. That probably means more than anything, really.
Yeah.
Uh, but okay. All right. Let me kick this around a little bit. As far as setting it up, setting up the bid tracker and all that, that uh, does it take some time setting it up, or is it just a few clicks and I have access to it?
So
But
it's
then I
two
got to run it.
things. One is you got to understand that now you've told me, "Hey, I'm not a computer guy." Okay?
Yeah.
But look, I deal with people that are, "Hey, I don't know how to turn on a computer," and I deal with people that just give me access and I know exactly what to do. Everything in between. My right hand man is a tech guy. He helped me design Bid Tracker, and he loves helping the hardest cases of I don't know where to point, click, read, tell you, and he will get that stuff installed and teach you how to use it.
Wow. Really?
And there's
Okay.
no limit. I don't care if that takes 10 hours or 10 days.
Wow. Okay. Do you charge by, or is that included in the $600 a month fee?
Totally included.
Wow.
Dude,
Okay.
I, look, I don't need. Add up the $600 a month. It barely equals the 25,000. I don't need anybody's money, but I have to charge something for this because,
Sure.
you know, you
Your
can't just
cost.
give this stuff away. But
No.
but but yeah, it's full access to me, to Fahad, to yeah,
Okay. All right.
it's all included.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate your time, Sean. I don't know what else to ask you. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you got other things going on. So that answers all the hot spots that I had about it.
I tell you, I have a real appreciation for your business. My wife and I watch a YouTube channel, a guy named Alex up in Chicago area,
Uh-huh.
and he does automotive content on YouTube. And
Uh-huh.
every Saturday we get up and we go in, turn the TV on to watch whatever he's dealing with now. And about 2 months ago, he tore down a 6-speed transmission out of a Camaro. And holy crap, there were
Yeah.
so many parts to that deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you should say that. When we sell a job, we're kind of towards the higher. We're higher than anybody else around here. I'm just, and I'm not ashamed of that because our shops have painted floors. They look like a Mercedes dealership. We charge more than anybody else does. Sometimes we charge more than the dealer does, and we justify it because we're better than the dealer. We have more technical information than the dealer. We're much faster than the dealer. When the dealer tells you 30 days, we can get it done in 5 or 4 or less. And then when you have a problem, we're going to be on the phone with you, and it's going to be at our shop. We're going to solve the problem immediately. We're not going to shove you off, and Joe Blow is going to mess with it later. So we charge more than anybody else
Well,
does.
I gotta tell you, it's worth it. It is freaking
Yeah.
worth it. When he started digging into that thing, and of course it was second gear that was grinding, so he had to go all the way to the front of that thing
Sure.
from the back.
Because they get trashed, the metal gets the system and it gets on in the valves and the solenoids and all the electronics. I mean, there's a lot of these have 10 solenoids that operate the shift controls, and they're not on-off solenoids anymore. They're pulse width modulated, where they ramp up and ramp down voltage-wise, and then they wear the valves out. It's a totally different thing than the old 400 and C6s that we used to work on, years ago in the 70s. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different animal. But we actually dismantle them. When the customer has time, we like to have the customer come down and look at the inside of the transmission when it's disassembled on an 8-foot bench.
Yeah.
It covers the whole damn thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And, so once they see that, they understand the why. The why is, why does it cost so much?
Yeah.
But once they see that, they go, holy shit, I had no idea it had this much stuff inside this box.
Yeah.
So it sells itself at that point. But yeah, that's there's a lot to things like that. So I commend my kids for getting into this work, but I tried to get them to do something else. I sent them to college. I said, do not do this job. Do not do this work. All came back. Now they all run shops. So it's like, you guys stepped in it good this time. So I would eventually like to try to, actually, if I can make this work, I would like to try to drag them into this industry
Oh sure.
that we're talking about, this industry right here. So
Yeah.
because there's potential for much more money. Let's face it, if you're a technician or you own a transmission shop, you're probably not going to make more than 150 or 200 a year. I mean, there's a cap there.
Yeah.
It's a decent amount of money, but there's still a cap. And as things get more expensive, and what happens to vehicles, no one knows. So I don't think the government stuff's going to go away. I think in the next few years.
I always say the federal government. I always say the federal government's been here for 250 years. It's going to be here for 200 more. I've been teaching this for 15 years. I'll be teaching it probably another 10. And the federal government's spending $1 billion a day, whether you're in this or not. And it's for those reasons that you'll never hear me say, so if you buy now or you get in by the end of November, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away.
No, it's not a time-sensitive thing. It's part of the woodwork, and it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And every time the country gets in a pickle and we got to pump more money into the economy, the quantitative
You're exactly right.
goes away, and the quantitative easing comes back into play. I would think that increases the government contracts.
You're exactly right. That is notoriously how the federal government stimulates the economy. It goes back to the New Deal.
Yep. Just like the prior presidents, just fix this problem we got, throw more money at it.
Infrastructure Act, American Reinvestment and Recovery Act. You're exactly right.
Rebuild everything, make it all new, and it's worth more money now than it was before.
That's right. It increases the value of the country. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Sean. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to mill it over some more, try to figure out how I can make this happen, and give you a holler back and try to get going with you.
I'm here for you when you need me, Chuck.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye.